Can do a quick photo. Seems like we have. Okay. Well, I'm still gonna make a post. Is the kind of thing I'm saying. I could just put the link there instead. Yep. But I saw Crown Cats play yesterday. Um, they're very middle of the pack, I'd say. They did not play yesterday. They played today only. I'll go bring its own thing. They're starting to reselect again. Okay. Your mic is working. My mic is working. That's great. All right, everybody, how's it going today? We are here for another day of the Centroamericana. Dex, you're not here for yesterday. You did not experience the pleasures that is Central American Overwatch. You've seen it before. You definitely
Mhm.
have. You had some fun with it back when we did the Americas conference. That was a lot of fun. And you know what? We're expecting a little bit more of it here today. Because there are some teams that, to be fair, I think we're relatively familiar with, some of the players as well. We can kind of go through them really quick. I mean, we have literally the Panama OWWC team that we saw just a few short weeks back. SNK is representing a team today. Crazy Legion is back after not seeing them in Face It for a little while. There's some good teams here. I'm excited for some of these games, as we properly should.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see teams like SNK. I mean, I think me and you were really hoping to see them back in South American Face It this season. However, they're not. But there's still a lot of fun teams here. Team Panama, as you already mentioned, got a bye in the first round here. The game that we are supposed to cover in the first round, it's going to end up being a forfeit, unfortunately. Once that one processes through, we'll get into the next round of games here. 7 teams. I don't know if you said that already here tonight in the second day here. So there'll be 6 round robin games, 7 rounds to get everyone those games. Actually, 7 or 6. I'm gonna say six rounds.
It would be 6 rounds. Yeah, we have the full 6 rounds still, so it will just be a round robin specifically because there is 7 teams. So elsewise, it would play like a what's it called? It's not a round robin. It's a what's the other one called? A Swiss bracket. It's
There you
supposed
go.
to operate like a Swiss bracket, but because we can't have duplicate matches, it's just gonna be everybody facing everybody like a traditional round robin, which should be fun because there's definitely
Yeah.
some games I'm looking forward to. There are some teams here that did play yesterday. A couple of those teams, SNK played yesterday. I believe they ended up getting 4th or 5th overall. Homeless fell just short at 3. They lost out due to just being a 1 loss short. As interesting fact, Dex, there was no undefeated teams yesterday. 0.
Ooh.
Both of the teams that made it went 5-1. Both lost a game against a team that unfortunately I don't think we're going to see until the LCQ tomorrow. Crazy Legion got themselves a couple of wins. ECT2 actually picked up a really impressive win earlier on. Actually, eventually ended up falling to another team that I hope we see tomorrow, Guats Up, which was the Team Guatemala squad that we saw again for the Americas Conference. And can you guess what they ran? Can you
The Rhine?
guess?
The Hawk?
The Rhine. They went full Rhine and ran it down.
I mean, hey, we're seeing a lot of teams, especially in OWCS and a little bit in the Overwatch World Cup, whether it be the conference cups or just show matches, really show some true identity, unique identities just to them. And Guatemala, I think, is slowly becoming known as the Rhine Nation.
Honestly, I'm fine with that. If I had any kind of identity, I would take Rhine Nation every day of the week.
Not Winton?
I'm fine with Winton, but like I don't know. There's an aesthetic. There's too many people that are like the Winton guy. I feel like
The aesthetic.
yes, that it is the aesthetic. I mean, to be fair, if you're the Winton guy, it's like am I calling myself Gooshway? Gooshway is the Winton guy. Gooshway is always going to be the Winton guy. But can you always call Hottie the Reinhardt guy? Can you? It's a real sentence.
I mean,
Can you?
Yeah, you can call Hottie the Reinhardt guy.
When's the last time you saw the man play Reinhardt? Actually, well, to be fair, we'll find out with Team Germany down the line if they decide to play Rhein, because they have, because they signed, what, it was Hottie, and then, oh, I can never pronounce their name. Starts with, like, the EIS, and I can never pronounce it
Ice Gnome?
properly. Yeah, Ice Gnome, yeah, that's the other tank. Okay. Thank you, you're so smart. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I was like, I was thinking, are you thinking of Ice Gnome? Because that's the only one I feel like you might have a little bit of struggle with. However, second round of games here. Sorry to kick completely off topic. Have generated. Crazy Legion will get the bye, so they get their RMAC win here. Homeless will be taking on SNK. Dipididu will be taking on Team Panama or Panama OW, and ECT2 will be taking on Crown Cats in that final game there. It's going to be really interesting. Crown Cats was the team that did not have all their players last game, so it's going to be really quick for them to come back in with their entire team or roster going into this next game here.
Yeah, 100%. And interesting thing about these teams, you recognize some of these players. I imagine so. Homeless has a lot of those Costa Rican players that we saw before in some of the early show matches. Artorius, Kel's in there, Spooky, Nil, who was I believe it was either the coach or the manager for that squad as well, which is pretty nice. Some of the members over on, which by the way, I realized SNK has expanded their roster a little bit. But Flata and Geom, you probably recognize, they were
Ooh.
a part of that Honduras squad that we got to see play for a little while. And I think Flata ended up flexing over to, oh, which team was it? Oh, I'm trying to remember. They flexed to a different country team. For some reason,
I believe it was Honduras.
it might have been no, because remember it was Honduras. I think Honduras is the team that didn't make it at all, if I'm not mistaken.
Then it was either Guatemala, or I believe the only other one that picked up a player wasn't Argentina.
Right. To be fair, we have this lovely website called Wikipedia that would literally make my life so much easier. I'm just gonna do that now. This is what we do as casters. We just look up. Oh, so yeah, no, they played for team. It was originally Team Nicaragua. That's what it was.
Hey Hunter, we're going into game. We got Homeless and SNK.
Ooh, that is getting lovely.
This one, yeah. Push map. We're heading to our friends up north. We're going to New Queen Street for this one here, and we'll be seeing Flata, we'll be seeing Geom in this match here. Artorias, Spooky, Reverb on the other side. Colby Jack, a name I think me and you have talked about or said a little bit here, and just haven't seen them for a while, but this should be a really, really good matchup here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. One of the teams I did get to see yesterday was the Homeless Squad. Actually, one of the first games I got to see. They were a lot of fun. They picked up a dub in their game, but it is worth noting we are here. These are all BO1s, so it's just the one map to decide the series between them, if you even want to call it a series properly. And again, top 2 is what these teams are looking for, and honestly, starting out with a big win, it's definitely a good way to set yourself in good territory, because even though there's only 7 teams, in a top 2, there is a very small margin for error.
Yeah, and shout out to the streamer name of In This Ult Economy on the side of Homeless. That is an amazing name. But coming out of the gate here, you will see the Winston for Homeless, Geom coming out here with the Zarya. And you have that Zarya Vendetta over on the side of SNK, and right now, SNK is playing a really, really meta composition here. You have the Emre, you have the Vendetta, you have Lucy Kiri, you have Zarya and Vendetta. It's gonna be hard to really slow them down. You're looking at Spooky and Colby Jack to open up a lot right now here for the side of Homeless here to get going.
Yeah, 100%. It's really entertaining. Artorias, we saw a lot in that Costa Rica squad during the World Cup. Hoping to see what they can do over on the Winston right now, but just waiting to find the initial blow as you have people playing aggressively. Artorias waiting for cooldowns to come online. It's a traditional Zarya Vendetta comp coming online, and so far, it's working pretty good for them. It worked really good for them yesterday as well, and it's doing the same thing here today as Dusk is going to get 3 to finish this fight, potentially 4, as you just see Colby Jack hanging around, should eventually fall over.
Colby Jack doing a really good job there, just slowing down the progression that SNK could have got. Look, they're just getting the lead right now, and you should see Homeless come back out very, very quickly, especially with Geom. Not really as close to the point as you would want them to be. This could be a very quick re-engage here now for Homeless. Just trying to get a little bit of a jump here early on before Geom gets back, but as you see Geom walking back in, it's going to become a little bit harder. Spooky not making swap over here to the Sojourn instead of that Zarya. I think they were really expecting to see, or my bad, instead of that Cassie. I think they were maybe expecting to see a dive come out from the other side as well, but without it, you just see him go right back over to this Sojourn.
Yeah, honestly, I like it. Sojourn, good character still, even with Emre still existing. Sojourn finds so much value. And Geom, by the way, incredibly low, eventually is going to fall over. They take advantage, burn some more bodies. Richie, another one of those players we've seen in the past, as well as it's the big kills coming through. Duskin's still happy to get one of their own to finish it off, but Artorias gets the last 2 down and dusted. And now we're already worrying about a potentially heavy ult fight coming up.
Yeah, you see about 4 gonna be ready here for SNK, 4 or 5 maybe ready for Homeless here. So like you said, heavy ult fight coming in. Colby Jack though, Pulse Mode online, I'd be really expecting them to get that off here pretty soon. Someone like Richie, someone like Flata, force out some utility early on, maybe even get an Ajax here as you immediately just see Dusk go straight in after Artorias.
Ooh, what a stick on the Richie as well. Artorias going down kind of mitigates that a little bit. It's rough to win a fight without your Winston sitting by, especially the comp you're running, so you see them kind of just they kind of just funnel out of there immediately.
Yeah, and it's the smartest thing they could do, but losing Spooky here, they need to start falling out a little bit quicker here. You have that support line now trying to get out Reverb, not going to be able to as Geom finds them in this ult economy, who I don't remember who they were. Gonna barely be able to get out here, but still, oh, that's devastating right to actually lose Colby Jack. This should be the forward spawns now going over, this checkpoint going over here to SNK as they still have 4 of their ultimates about to be online here. 3-4 about to be ready here for Homeless as well. So this is your heavy ult fight that we were expecting maybe 2 fights ago here, Hunter.
Yeah, maybe so, and already losing out on a body right here. Richie down, Spooky's picked up 2. Looking really good right now, and hopefully going to pick up a 3rd here as eventually Snow's taken down. That's another fight going their way, so still nearly 7 minutes on the clock. They're looking good, but they do need to kind of win that defining fight to take the lead.
Yeah, and we're going to keep on talking about here until it actually happens. That heavy ult fight, Hunter, it's just around the corner. I promise you, it's just around the corner. 4 ultimates about to be online for both sides here, but it was a really big place by Spooky last time to get everything going here. Now, though, what's going to be the opening act here for SNK? Is it going to be this, or is it going to be the Sundering Blade? Is it going to be the Beat? Is it going to be the Override Protocol? You have options here for them, and it's going to be the Override.
Yep, we'll see what it is right now. Sound Barrier used pretty much immediately, by the way. Ends up working out well, at least for the time being, because no one's died quite yet. But you see the big grab thrown out, as it doesn't get anyone, I think, except for just Artorias. But to be fair, that's all you really need, Dex.
Yeah, it's all you need. You just need to get rid of the Winston on the other side. We've already talked about here. This entire comp is kind of based around how well can Artorias live on this Winston, and if they're dead, it's going to be very hard for them too. Now, you're in a spot right now where we talked about Homeless last time. They need to be able to funnel out back towards their own spawn here, but you still have the majority of the team up here ready to take a fight. Artorias is coming back with this Primal Rage, which is now free, essentially.
Yeah, but Giom is just caught out, unfortunately, and the rest of the team likely to fall beneath them as well, as you just see Richie take it down. Dust, the only one who I believe got fully out of there. They'll be able to regroup one more time. A realistic retouch, I would say.
Yeah, there should be a retouch, especially with Giom and now Richie making swaps. Giom going over to the D.Va. They want to be able to match up Artorias on this Winston a little bit better. Richie now going over to the Cassie, who saw Spooky start out with. I think this is a much better option for them, especially on this side. That Emery, it's not been finding the most value here so far, but no one pushing the bot right now. I mean, the forward spawns will eventually go their way, and the map will be tied.
Yeah, as the map is literally a 1/10 of a meter away as Dust is being pushed away. Bot's being taken away momentarily as Dust gets the mega health pack right now. Might be able to live. Let the Sundering Blade go! And that's going to be unfortunate use as this game fully ties up. But unfortunately, this tie is going to turn into a lead being taken away as they're going to let the Consuming Rush go just to force the lead, force the fight away. And that's a great usage to be able to clean things up there.
Haven't gotten the lead just yet, but finding Richie, there you go. They eventually tick over into the lead, and Homeless now in a really good spot here. Half the time bank is gone as we're nearing about 4 minutes left to go here. And do we see more swaps come out here from SNK? I think Dusk is going to start to lose a little bit of value here on this Vendetta. Colby Jack going to have Pulse Bomb here ready to go early on. We have dual support ultimates online for SNK. So this is a fight where you should be looking at them to really come out on top very, very easily as the Consuming Rush is coming out already.
See already, Colby Jack, nice stick over onto Snow to keep them in this one as well. And Spooky is continuing to doing a good job. Colby Jack was someone I talked a lot about yesterday, had a really good performance, and I think he's doing so well now as well. As Giom taken out of the mech is gonna use the bomb, unfortunately. So that's unfortunately not gonna do much for you there.
Yeah, it's going to do almost diddly squat. You got rid of a big ultimate here that could have been used for the next fight as a remaking tool, but now you're only going to have the Beat and the Deadeye. However, other side's going to have Beat and the Overclock online. So it's going to be a pretty even fight here. I like what we're seeing here from Homeless. They're going to force SNK to be the ones that engage in this fight. They can play a very defensive position, especially as they're already on the plus side of the map.
Yeah, and Artorias just gets singled out. Sound Barrier there gets nothing as you see the full dive to run into Richie, but Richie's already got their second of the fight right now as Reverb, run as you might. There's no getting away from the Vendetta.
It was really funny to see Artorias die right there. They died immediately after they hit their jump, and Winston's body ragdolled into a wall at Mach 1. Colby Jack, though, going to be able to find Dusk, which is an absolute disaster here for SNK. They need to get some momentum going back their way. You need your Vendetta in this engagement. Already down that. Look, they're starting to fall back here, and that time bank no longer on their sides here. They have a Beat. Maybe they could have invested there, but they want to hold on to that, especially as you look at the other side right now. Homeless can have a Consuming Rush, a Primal Rage, and a Pulse Bomb here very, very soon, Hunter.
Very much so. With that Sound Barrier for Flata is going to be the critical thing needed to win this fight if need be, especially if they let the Consuming Rush go. That they will. Sound Barrier perfectly timed. Everyone is forced to run back. Reverb within an inch of their life, as well as everybody's sitting low as Artorias is going to commit into the 3v4 and try to find somebody to run on. Unfortunately, it just isn't really able to find any kind of target. Spooky's going to get harassed in the background by Flata, who's going to help cut them off. At the very least, they take this W as a result.
It's going to be a very short W, though. They need to be able to clean up everyone else here. Is Geom going to be able to find
Oh,
Spooky
big poop.
Big poop. That's a huge momentum shift right there. However, they need to be actually playing the objective at the moment. You could have been able to get that bot about halfway back towards those forward spawns. Now I gave up a decent amount of time. However, you're okay with that. Look at the ultimates you're coming up to with now here if you're SNK. The other side really close to that overclock and really nothing else here. So you're in a good spot where you can now, with 100 seconds left to go, start snowballing this here. You just need to get a good fight to go your way, especially with the ultimates you have online. Because like I said, you're going to have all 5 ready to go here in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, Southern Blade is big to work with here as well. It can buy you a bunch of space, but to be fair, hey, Token just running it down with the sword in general. You take a trade. I don't know how much I love that trade, though, especially as you lose out the Kiriko as well. Spawns rather even overall. Is Richie going to go ahead and use that high noon to find some space? And it's going to find one as that bomb. This time, Geom is going to find the remake. They get the forward spawns, but I can't see them getting much further than this.
Get out of this one. If Geom can find a way out, it would be huge for them, but just good play all around from Homeless, making sure that Geom's not going to be able to escape here. And the quick kill as well, not going to even stagger them out, not going to give them a chance or a hope at being able to do that. And Hunter, like I said, they're going to have a lot of ultimates coming up. I think they just played their cards wrong. Now you look over the other side, they're rolling up into 3, 4 ultimates about to be online, and you immediately say Homeless back in the advantage here right now. If you're SNK, you need to get a good fight going on here very, very quickly, because that time bank and that distance no longer on your side.
No, it is most certainly not. Sound barrier used. Only catches on to 3, but to be fair, it, pushes everybody back, puts you in a good scenario. You might want that for later, quite frankly, especially as they continue to commit. Dusk has to pretty much let it go just to go and live and get some care, and unfortunately, these are 2 ults that just don't really do anything for them. Pulse bomb thrown out, sound barrier there as well. To be fair, they have ults galore, and it's final fight territory. And yet, they haven't thrown like everything yet. But here comes the death toll, everything being thrown in. Kitsune Rush for extra good measure. And it looks like Homeless are going to clean this one up, take their dub, and it's going to be 103 meters to, I believe it ended up being 61.
Yeah, and again, just good performance here by Homeless. SNK got off to a really good start, but Homeless bounced back almost immediately right there and really left SNK in the dust. You saw just the composition change that we saw come out there, going from the Cassie over to that Sojourn, ended up being the right thing for them, because after that, they really made no changes, and the team looked like a well-oiled machine there. Homeless, though, with that win, I believe moves up to 2-0 on the day. The only other teams that have yet to lose a game are Panama and Dipitidu, who I believe are still currently playing as we speak.
I think that adds up, yeah. We're still waiting on that game. It'll be a little bit quicker than yesterday since we have pretty much half as many games happening. Before, we had 12 playing yesterday, so there were 6 games happening at once. But with only 3, it should be a quicker sequence today. I don't know how many teams yet are going to be playing tomorrow for the LCQ. I brought it up earlier. I'll bring it up again and probably several times more. It is top 4 tomorrow for the LCQ, as opposed to just the top 2 here for today. So we'll see what ends up coming from that. But to be fair, just what would you think, honestly? Because to be fair, I saw both these teams yesterday. I thought they both looked pretty good, all things considered. They ran into some really tough teams, unfortunately, before. But Homeless has made up a lot of those Costa Rican players that we saw do a lot of good things during the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, they looked really good. That Winston comp was a little bit slow. Like I said, I think that swap from the Cassie over to the Sojourn worked out very, very great for them. Like I said, they really probably expect to see a dive come out from the other side of SNK. So when they saw that Zarya at first, the Cassie necessarily didn't find as much value, go over to the Soj, and you immediately saw the difference right there. And eventually, even when SNK went over to that D.Va to play a little bit of dive themselves, it just wasn't able to really match that kind of pressure that you're getting there from that Winston for Homeless. A very, very good performance all around there from Homeless. SNK, I mean, they had their moments. They really did. You have to remember the start of the map, they won a couple fights in a row, got those checkpoints very, very quickly, or that forward spawns very quickly. But after that, after they got forward spawns, they never got back to the other side of the map until about a minute and a half left to go in the time bank, which is not a good thing because Homeless was able to take so much space for free a lot of the times. There was multiple times that map where SNK had a huge ult advantage, just wasn't able to actually find the value with any of them.
Yeah, unfortunately so. And that I feel like that's become a bit of a trend as of recent. I don't know how you feel about it. But ultimately sometimes just not being pulled, whether that's just in time or just not at all. Because to be fair, I would rather die with my ultimate still in hand than use it and find out that it ended up not working out at all. I think that's the feeling. As I hear an ooh in the chat, and I think Blood knows something that I don't.
Dipididu beats Team Panama in that game there.
Sheesh.
Let's see if Crown Cats and ECT2 are going on. Looks like they are. That is going on right now. So that is a series that is going on. They're also on New Queen Street, and they're about 9 minutes into it. So they should be almost over here.
Should be. We'll see what ends up coming out of that one. To be fair, I'll say I would not be surprised either way, quite frankly. Just in that game itself. I'm assuming you're watching on the Senju stream right now. Oh, actually. They're doing the Panama and Dippity-Doo game, and Dippity-Doo apparently won by a lot.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the stats on the Faceit page here, and it's one of those ones that really lets you know that it was a little bit of a one-sided affair. Ado themselves playing that tank there for Dippity-Doo, able to get 25 elims, 2 deaths on New Queen Street. The DPS line combined for 29 elims there, 10 more than what the other side did for Team Panama. So it looked like a very, very quick map there for them. And I believe the series that we had was actually the first one that got started. That's why we're still waiting for these other two to finish up, even though Dipididu was able to beat Team Panama very, very quickly.
Yeah, very much so. We'll see what comes of that one right there. But it'd be fascinating to see how the day kind of develops further on with a lot of these players. Because, again, I brought up to you in DMs how there's a lot of players. Oh, there's, the ones from Guatemala, Costa Rica. We have Panama sitting right here as well. But you might recognize a lot of the Dippity-Doo players because these are a lot of the players that were on or trialed for Team Mexico, actually. Which is... that I love to see that. Again, I could go on a whole tirade, but the whole point is, it's nice to see them participating in this.
Mm-hmm. Is it pronounced Dippity-Doo?
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Dippity-Doo. To be fair, if it's not, Senju was corrected my pronunciation multiple times yesterday. I think he'll do the same today as well.
Because I thought it was Dippity-Doo, but I'll go with Dippity-Doo as well. But I mean, yeah, no, it's great to see all these players coming out here. Again, we saw a lot of these players, like you said, for Dippity-Doo, playing that Team Mexico trials, or whether or not they're on the team here. It's really fun to see them coming to participate in a tournament like this, and just a lot of the other players as well, because I think this is a big thing of just trying to get more tournaments going on in the region, and that's always a great thing, as we've seen a lot in South America. Now we're seeing it here in Central America as well.
Yeah, as well. And we love to see that, ultimately. We'll see what comes out of today, though, and obviously for the LCQs going on tomorrow. But obviously we're focused on seeing who we can get qualified here and now today instead. As I believe, I'll refresh the page really quick.
I'm doing it as well.
Yep.
Still going on.
Yep, still waiting. So I think we're having the same issues potentially as before with the Crown Cats game. At least that's an assumption. I don't know for a fact. I'm not a wizard by any means. Waiting for the... Yeah, no, it's just that game. Okay, that's the only game we're waiting on right now. Okay, we'll see. It's the only game that's not being covered, as we're covering a game. Obviously, Group of Senju's covering a game, and then I don't know if there's anybody else covering the third game, as a matter of fact. I could look really quick.
Yeah, it's over. And ECT2 came out on top of that one there. So now you will have Homeless versus Dippity-Doo, or Dippity-Doo coming up here as it looks like, even though this is round robin, still kind of going in that Swiss format here. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be your battle of undefeateds there. Team Panama will be taking on SNK. Crazy Legion goes up against ECT2, and Crown Cats, they get their bye here in our third round. Hunter, after this, halfway through the night already, going very, very quickly here.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be quicker just because there's less teams, less matches I have to worry about. If they all run smoothly, that's how it's going to be. And that helps in the 1-to-1 format as well, where we know how long every map is relatively going to be. If we're playing push, we know we're going to only be having 11 minutes maximum for all of the games involved. It could be different for control. It could be different for any mode, honestly. We saw, I think it was really just push and control we saw yesterday. I believe we saw Flashpoint as well, though. Obviously, these maps that are a little more, we'll say time dependent. I think that's the way to go. These map types can only go on for so long, as opposed to Escort or Hybrid, where they can go on for a very, very long time under certain circumstances.
The strategy is, if any team gets Escort or Hybrid, just to purposely drag the game out as long as you can go, just to see how long it would be before someone messaged you saying, "Please end the game."
Oh my
But we
god.
should figure out what game we're gonna be doing here momentarily as well.
Yeah, we'll see. Because like I said, we'll always have a different game from the group of Senju ones. That way, y'all get as much entertainment as humanly possible. Which reminds me, Senju never accepted my thing. Senju, I swear, I will come for you. I will find you. You know I will.
He will go to Brazil.
I will.
At least that's where I believe Senju lives.
Yeah, I think so as well. Oh, by the way, in the chat, Conqueron, hello, hi. You can say hello too, Dex. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Hello.
It's okay.
Hello. Let's see. Do we know our game yet?
Well, I haven't gotten the thing yet. Oh, I just got it. All right, so we are doing. Oh, no, I have the game online. We are doing, and there's a reason why Conqueror might be in the chat. It is Team Panama taking on SNK, so a little more SNK action coming our way.
Love that here. Team Panama. I mean, Guardian, Kubo, Tiger, opening, speed boost. You have Takeda there as well. There's Kokoron, like you said, Dulce and Zader on that one. Oh my goodness, I never looked how much subs there are in SNK.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's it's like 6 subs, I think.
It is 6.
Crazy amount.
Actually, no.
Yeah, it's
no, 6.
Yeah, it's
technically
6.
7 if the coach
So,
wants to play, which is I think allowed this time around.
I think it is. Yeah, it's not as insane as the I forget if it was the Factor X. It was like the Factor X team last time. It was one of the teams last time for the Suda that had like 9 subs on the team. I got on which one, but they had like 9 subs. I was like, oh my god.
I want to say it wasn't Factor X. I think it was Colhair.
It could have. I would believe Colhair. I would believe it 100%.
Just time to start gaslighting people into believing whatever we're saying right now.
To be fair,
we're both wrong.
To be fair, I had an instance last time I was bringing. Oh yeah, I recognize this person from the trials, and I was like, "What trial?" I'm like, "That trial." Right, because I didn't remember which one it was. The trial.
Like
I
Ohio State, the trial.
The trial.
But looks like countdown is getting down to 0 right now. We should know in a moment what our map is going to be. And Hunter, we're going to a control map. It's Samoa this time around, which is very, very fun. And I'm considering that we're going to Samoa this series. I believe every other series has been going to the same map as well. So every series is going to be playing Samoa this time around. And with it being control, it really means that it could be maybe as short as 4 minutes, as long as 15. You never know. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited for this game, as everybody should be as well. These are both 1-1 teams. A win right here, obviously every win's important, but again, you don't want to be fighting from behind. When you get those 2 losses, yesterday, 2 losses was essentially already a bit of a death sentence. But in a scenario like this, 2 losses might still be winnable, but I would rather be 4-2 than have to start being 1-2 and drag my way back. But we'll see what happens here as we're getting everybody in the lobby. As Guardian Mad in currently, and we see Tiger, who we saw before. I got to have a lovely conversation with Tiger when we did the podcast episode with Ben. That was a lot of fun, I will say.
Yeah. Again, like I said, Panama, I really liked that team going into the Conference Cups. It was just kind of sad to see how they actually performed there, because I had some hopes for them. I really did. I thought they would be one of the teams that really surprised a lot of people. Just didn't end up being the case here, or at least in that one. But hey, different tournament now. And again, you have to remember, Panama got the bye in the first round, so they've only played 1 game, did not end up winning that one here, going against an SNK team which got off to a really good start last series there against Dippity-Doo. However, different map type, different mode, different map entirely. Do we still see the Zarya come out? Do we see that D.Va come back out for them? What do we see from Panama? It's gonna be really fun to see that here once we get going into the lobby. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think you clicked on the Overwatch client. I think that's what you've done.
Yes.
We'll see. Hopefully we get everybody in. To be fair, sometimes the servers have issues, or more so I should say, sometimes the invites have issues. We've seen that in the past happen with players. It's not exactly a thing, as that's about what I expected. That's what I expected to happen, yeah. So they'll just restart the lobby. Why not?
Yeah, a little bit faster than what I thought. Normally, you see that entire countdown go in, but it was put on hold a lot faster that time around. But again, based off what we're seeing here, Speed Boost, Kubo, Tiger, Guardian Mad, and Opening are going to be your roster here for Team Panama. On the other side, SNK going to make some swaps as well. Alex coming in. I believe Snow is coming in as well. Same thing with Simple. Outside of that, you're going to still have Dusk and Richie on the field.
Okay, hey, I like it. Sounds legit to me. We'll see what comes to form as hopefully we get things rounded out here. What did you say the other? I unfortunately on my thing that I have, I can't see the matches themselves outside of our own. So what are the other 2 games going on as well? Because it's Homeless and Dippity Doo.
Homeless and Dippity Doo. The other one is Crazy Legion and ECT2.
Okay, so
Crown
Crown
Cats has your
got the bye. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Okay, sounds legit to me. Okay, so we'll see. Crazy Legion ECT2 is honestly really interesting to me because while I didn't, we got to see Crazy Legion play once yesterday. They put up a really good fight. Unfortunately, they lost in their game. ECT2, I got to see them play twice yesterday. Got a win and a loss respectively. To be fair, they put on a really good performance. I could see them. I don't know if I see them taking it today, but I think this is a team that very easily should get through the LCQ tomorrow and be able to go onto the group stage. That's my genuine thoughts.
Yeah, no. I mean, I agree with you. It should be they should be able to do that there. But hey, maybe you never know. Good.
You never do.
Just do it tonight.
You could do it tonight. To be fair, I think it's doable. It just depends. Well, actually, it doesn't depend on a whole lot because remember, we are playing basically a round robin. They face everybody, so they pretty much have to get a big win on one of the other 2 top teams, and that's all you realistically need to do. If you could beat one of them, there's a chance you could beat everybody else as well. But we'll see as we're just waiting for the lobby once more. I think at the very least they have the lineups that they want. We're just waiting for the lobby to properly connect, as it looks like SNK made. Yeah, you said before they made some swaps already.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, like I said, I believe Alex, Simple, and Snow. I don't think we saw them at all, unless one of them was the ones using the streamer name. Geom is out. I already see that one there. Same thing with Flotto, who I don't think we saw map 1 as well. But actually, it might just be Flotto, the only one coming, or Geom coming out here. You might just be seeing the tank sub come in here now for SNK.
You just might. Why not? I mean, to be fair, they have a lot of subs, and sometimes it's kind of done as a joke. I think this might be maybe one of the lower legitimate sentiments, I should say, because they are very comfortable making a lot of these swaps. Because I feel like there's one thing that we have here, not just in South America, but as we've seen Central America, is players that are dedicated to their hero. You think immediately of like I'm trying to think of examples, literally any examples right now. Save me here. Save me, Dex.
Well, I'll save you right now because Panama is making some swaps based off what we already talked about. Dulce and Zader coming in now for them there. Looks like Guardian and Opening. Maybe we're having some problems connecting to the lobby, so they're maybe seeing if that's the reason here or just some late swaps. But again, Samoa, good to be our map here. There is the invite to the lobby, and let's see. Yep, everyone is here now, so we should, or once Alex gets into the lobby, we should be heading into our 3rd series of the night. And hey, we're going in.
Hey, we'd love to see it. Let's go have some fun. By the way, I was thinking of Glacier, the Reinhardt Glacier. Go to Guatemala Glacier. That's what I was trying to think of the entire time. Literally had the guy in chat yesterday and forgot his name already. Please forgive me for what I've done. But we're ready to get into this.
Some things are unforgivable, Hunter.
They are not. I'm done for. I'm gone. But hopefully I'll be given forgiveness tomorrow with the LCQs. But right now we're focusing on a little more SNK Red and this Panama squad, which again, while things didn't really shake up as much as we would have hoped so, to be fair, they had a show match very recently against India. I managed to watch the VOD afterwards. They beat India 4-1. Do you know that?
Yeah. I mean, hey, we saw how good they looked in you know, a lot of stuff leading up to the Conference Cups and in the Conference Cups. That's not a big surprise to me. I think India is one of those teams where a lot of people were wondering how good are they actually going to be, and I think that was a really good litmus test for them there. But coming out of the gate, looks like no big changes here for SNK. Here, Simple going to be playing that Zarya. On the other side, the Diva for Dulce and Team Panama here. Again, if you're SNK, you ran the same exact composition, just minus the Diva and add in the Winston. This is almost the exact same thing you had to deal with last map, so you should be at least well versed on how to deal with it a little bit here.
You should be. And right now, Simple is really far ahead. Nearly gets burned, but Dulce is just really far ahead. Luckily, does get kept up, but Xander going down does not make their lives any easier, as they'll have to surrender the point to get things rolling.
Yeah, and this is exactly the start you're looking for here if you are SNK. You're almost getting the exact same thing you got last map. You won the first fight, got some good progress on the point or on the bot. Now you just need to be able to convert into another team fight win here, especially with the Zara and Vendetta composition. You're starting to just take a lot of pressure here against Panama.
Yeah, and Simple is just consistently building up to like max charge as well, so it's not a ton that you can do right now. Specifically, if you are Dulce, you are waiting for someone to find a good pick. Unfortunately, Simple's in to help find the finish over on the Cubu, and unfortunately, without having all that big sustain, Speed Boost is going to get taken out. Dulce has to just run for it, gets rid of Snow in the process, so maybe you can get some bodies out, maybe you can take advantage of that, as Dulce is lucky to still be alive.
Alex, yeah, still being alive as well is huge. Zader will eventually fall. Same thing for Dusk, but it's exactly what you're looking for here if you are SNK. You win that next team fight. However, give me a really quick re-engage here now for Panama, especially without that Vendetta. You need to be going fast here.
100% you do, and Simple's right around the corner from having this Graviton Surge. Who knows how necessary it might be, though. Just depends on what Tiger can get here. Thus far, the answer is not a whole lot, as you have a touch come through from Simple. Still has that grab ready to go. Who knows how necessary it might be as well. Dulce has still not gotten back into the mech, by the way, and you lose all of that charge you gained on the point.
All the charge. You get the remech kill. You get the remech kill, so you get that, but are you going to be able to get out right now if you're Dulce? Somehow you're surviving, but you need a lot of help, but there's no chase down there from SNK. Now, though, you're going to see Dusk go up there. Dulce, though, get some healing, so they're going to be able to stay in the mech, and they find Dusk there. All 5 ultimates ready here now for SNK. Just grab, though, could be eaten up here unless Dulce throws the bomb up in the air.
Yeah, that is definitely a choice of all time. I'll give you that. It forces Richie back a little bit, I guess, so he's kind of the back and forth, but now you get 2 pulled into the grab. But you see right there, Dulce jumps in as well, just to make sure you don't find all the value. Dulce gets rid of another on top of that. Alex eventually goes down on the point. They'll flip it at 99%, and they'll still have a sound barrier ready for either the Rush or the Sundering Blade.
Yeah, and I mean, this is exactly what you wanted here. If you're Panama, a really rough start to this entire series or map. You didn't get anything to go your way. You lost a couple team fights in a row, but you come back in, withstand a couple ultimates. Granted, you do have to invest a lot of your own ultimates, but you have a beat now, which is a very, very strong thing to have coming into this engagement. But you cannot afford to lose Dulce early or lose Kubo.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Tiger gets cut down. Nothing you can do there. Speed Boost is in super deep, gets slashed down as well. Xander does find one. And remember, while this is happening, I mean, Dusk is only now just getting to the point. If you keep Dulce and mech, you should be able to commit for a retouch here.
Yeah, I mean, you should. Dulce, though, maybe a little bit too far away to get a good touch. Yeah, just a little bit too far away. Unfortunate there for Team Panama, but SNK, you're immediately responding back from that struggle you had a little bit last map, especially in the middle part of it there against Dippity-Doo, and getting the first point win here. Granted, it's going to be going into a completely different point where you could see different compositions, but you're seeing the Zarya really work out for Simple. Dusk also finding a lot of value as well. Everyone's working a lot better here for SNK this time around, and now Dulce going over to the Mauga instead. I like this one here. They want to be able to provide a little bit more pressure, and Hunter, we're starting to see a little bit of that bubble popper composition that we saw maybe last season in season 7 of Face It League, both North America and South America. It's nice to see the Mauga coming back in here. I would not be opposed to Zader sticking with this sim, but it's probably nothing more than just a TP out and then going right back over to this Tracer.
Probably so. We'll see what we get out of it, though. I don't mind it, ultimately. As the Juno, I think, is the interesting swap here. To be fair, it's a thing I feel like everyone's starting to pair with the Mauga, is the Juno. I think it's a really good combination. You can get it really quickly for the Mauga as well with that combination, so we'll see how it works out as Dusk On the run currently, trying to get out alive. Unfortunately, will not be given such a privilege. And Dulce is going to have the speed to be able to go and contest this point, but actually, they're going to get the free initial grab, but unfortunately, I don't think they're going to hold on to this thing longer than 10%.
Tiger going to be able to find Richie. Suzu coming out to keep Simple alive here as Dulce now going to be able to find a couple there with the stomp and find Snow to end it all there. So Panama, 8% over there to SNK, exactly what you want. What changes do we see from SNK right now? Knowing they're going to have to deal with this Malga and, like you said, that the Juno composition, because like you said, it's been paired up very well here, especially in OWCS. Face it, we start to see this one a little bit more. Juno, that speed rank, you know when it comes out, you're going to see a big engagement here from Panama, so you just have to be waiting on that here. That's a huge pick as Tiger got everything going for Panama last fight. Now the first one's taken out.
Yeah, no, Dulce has to try to burn through some bodies to maintain that health and find somebody to go after, but Speed Boost has everything thrown into them, and with no Dulce setting by, this is an inevitability. They maybe get this thing to 38% as we see, Tiger, actually, Zader is still way back there. Unfortunately, I don't think he's getting out alive.
Doing a good job at least buying themselves some time here. We're going
Wow.
all the way to the other team's spawn. But it's going to be a really awkward engage here now for Panama. Zader, though, going to be able to play it safe. However, you see the entirety of SNK just setting up here on a high ground. Alex almost taken out, and now Dulce just pumping some damage into Simple, giving them some charge. Now the run comes in, the stop will not be able to find anyone as a nice Suzu comes out there from Snow.
Yeah, and Dulce, unfortunately, just doesn't get any carry through that. Wasn't able to get any of that health charge coming through because of all the bubbles, the cleanses being used there for Simple. And as looks like they'll be able to clean things up as a result of a little bit of help from Richie and everything they're able to provide. But now we're going to the fight where, again, despite what just happened, this is still ultimate plentiful.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have 3-4 ultimates ready here for Panama, 3 ultimates on the other side here for SNK, so they're in a good spot. Just be able to withstand a lot. That beat from Alex is going to be pretty big here. The orbital raid, though, from Kubo needs to get online here pretty quickly as the rally coming out here from Speed Boost, as you immediately see Panama just go straight in for the fight. Point, though, wide open.
Yeah, force everybody back, and it looks like I think they're gonna find maybe a flip, but instead you see the stun back momentarily. They're gonna try to force a touch, and a touch is what they do indeed force, as they're gonna fall apart. 75% accounting. SNK, they're sitting in a beautiful territory, and unfortunately they're gonna try to get rid of Tiger here, who's running for their life.
Tiger running for life, but Kubo going to be able to heal them up here. And one last engage here for Team Panama if they did not come out on top. Simple did use that grab in the last fight, so there's no stopping them at the moment. But you have Kitsune, you have Sundering Blade online. There's the orbital. Someone needs to get a touch, though.
You need to try to right now. Alex down is definitely a good step in the right direction. Richie taken out as well. And it'll just be a quick reset here for SNK as we'll get a big win come through here. And the bright side is you only use the orbital array. You still have a lot of strong ultimates sitting by.
Yeah, cage fight, pulse bomb, your own override protocol there for Tiger. You're in a good spot right now, the Panama. Just be able to kind of hold for the next couple fights. But you look over at the other side, Kitsu and Sundering Blade, Simple really building up to another grab here quickly, and Richie, their own override protocol about to be online for them here in a mere amount of moments. But you need that first pick here if you're Panama. You cannot afford to go down 4-5 in this fight, and they might be able to find Dusk, but they get that health pack to keep them alive.
Yeah, remember, I think Vidya is one of the characters that gets a little extra from the health packs as well, if I am not to be mistaken. But Snow is down immediately here as they're going to keep rushing forward. Tiger has now gotten rid of 2 right there and hoping to make it a 3rd with Dusk, who eventually will be taken down as well. But that is every ultimate committed there. And I don't know how this is going to work in the final fight now.
It's going to be rough. I mean, you see the other side, 3 ultimates already online here for SNK. Grab not that far away from Simple, but I like what we're seeing here from Panama. Playing up, forcing fights and ultimates to be used early on as Richie now already investing their own override into this fight.
Yeah, throwing literally everything into Dulce, but there's nothing you can do. Dulce takes him out at the very last second, but now you're without your big tank. Cubo is just taken away from everybody else, and in the break versus the Vendetta, I don't know how much I like my chances as everyone falling. You get one whip going your way, but unfortunately, all you can do is drop on the point, eat your deaths, and unfortunately, while Dulce is going to be there to cause a little bit of stall, they're going to get grabbed. They're going to get annihilated then in there. No recontention available. SNK will take away that big dub. They move up to 2-1, and right now, after that, I'd say they're looking pretty good.
Yeah. It looks like the other series, ECT2, A would be Crazy Legion there. Dippity Doo and Homeless going into their third point here. So we'll figure out the winner of that one right there. Winner of that one will be undefeated halfway through the day. And I believe one of those teams still does have their bye, or maybe both of them still have their bye. So, I mean, they're going to be able to kind of be in cruise control maybe in the back half of the series, whoever comes, or back half of the night, whoever wins that one. But again, good performances by both teams there. Team Panama, they really looked a lot more improved going into that second point. But SNK, I think that composition that they were running was just a little bit better into it. The Malga worked well at times, but I think that maybe they over-aggressed into the one fight where they invested 3 ultimates into it. You need to know when to really back out of some of those stuff there. The cage fight, I think maybe was a little bit too far forward. Granted, Tiger did find 3 picks off of it, so hey, it's good usage of the ults, but just not good usage, not good time to use them there. Panama, though, they still have a lot of times. 3 more games left to go here tonight to be able to potentially find that second seed here, because I do believe a 2-loss team is going to probably be your number 2 finisher tonight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case as well. I genuinely believe so. We'll see what ends up coming of it right now, because after this last matchup between Homeless and Dippity Doo, he said it will only be 1 undefeated team left, and we had no undefeated teams yesterday, despite having many more teams, nearly double the amount. So we'll see. Because depending on which team win this, they still have to go through and beat everybody else after the fact. But honestly, whoever wins that, you have to feel incredibly confident about being 3-0. And with it being the format that it still is, that means they have beaten teams that are progressively more and more in their levels of strength. So, yeah.
I think the series is over, considering the page just kind of freaked out, and it will be Homeless beating Dippity Doo there. So they move to 3-0, and I believe Homeless hasn't had their bye yet, so they only have to play 1 more game after this round 4 game and they're safe. So essentially, if they win this next game, who they'll be going up against ECT2, you might just be saying like, hey, this team is potentially already a lock in, considering they will at most have 1 loss.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're 1 loss, I think you should realistically be locked in with there being 7 teams. I'm not a mathematician by any means, but I think that's how it would go down. But yeah, that's big right there for Homeless to take that one away. So like you said, just those 2 more games they would realistically have to play. But here's the thing, is there will be a team that just straight up doesn't get a bye. Since there are 6 rounds, 7 teams, someone's not getting the bye. And to be fair, it's just going to come down to, I think...
It might end up being the undefeated team.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's going to be pure randomness as to who doesn't get it. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, we do know the team getting the bye this round in round 4 is going to be SNK. So they'll get a win here, putting them up to 2-2 in this, which, again, great spot for them. I still think 2 losses is probably going to be enough to get you potentially that number 2-1, but you now need to look at either Homeless dropping 2 of their final 3 or Dippity Doo dropping 1 more game here as well. They will go up against Crazy Legion. Panama will be taking on Crown Cats. And like I said, Homeless will be taking on ECT2. We'll figure out which game we're covering here in a brief moment. But, I mean, honestly, I want to see Crazy Legion here tonight. I do. That's the one team I kind of want to see here again.
Yeah, the biggest thing is we haven't got to see Crazy Legion a whole lot since the previous season of Face It League. Which, to be fair, unfortunately didn't really go their way. They did take a solid, win, I believe, off of... I can't remember the other team. I'm trying to remember who they were, but they took a big win. I'll look back at the information later on, because I'd rather be right about that. But it's just good to see them again, and see them on, honestly, what I'm hoping is a new and improved style, because, again, they took some good wins yesterday. I think this is another team that, hey, maybe LCQ comes tomorrow. Maybe something goes through way there. I mean, imagine, to be fair, they come in here, they beat Dippity Doo somehow. I mean, that would be phenomenal on them, and it'd be a step to keep them in chaos, and it would keep them in this legitimately as well.
Yeah. I was trying to see, maybe I'm clicking in on one of these games here to see if we know what map we'll be going to. Haven't figured that one out just yet, but lineups are being finalized for every game, so we will know what series we're going to have here very, very quickly.
Yeah, very much. I'm trying to remember the events of yesterday, because this has been the same map so far as yesterday. So I'm trying to remember what the 4th map was. I can look back at my own VOD and find out very quickly, but to be fair...
Did you say Flashpoint was played?
We played a game of, was it Saravasa? Well, no, I mean, we played Atlas is what we played Atlas, but I think that was round 4 or 5. So maybe it'll be here, maybe it won't.
Well, we are in round 4, so we'll figure it out here, because that's the only mode that we haven't played yet that's not push or hybrid, or my bad, hybrid or escort.
Yeah, true. Which I don't think we played any hybrid or escort throughout that entire thing. Which, to be fair, that's for the better, because one of these games would genuinely go like 15, 20 minutes somehow.
Tie.
Yeah, that's the thing. I guess you
wait.
realistically can't have a game mode that would tie, because if you would, you would have to play a second map.
Yeah. Here, wait. Let me make it. I want to correct myself here. Looking at the standings, SNK actually 3-1 with this bye here. So because of it, at the moment, they move up to that first overall seed. Homeless still undefeated. If they win here, should go ahead of them. Hunter, let's see what game we have here. Dippity-Doo and Crazy Legion.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna go over to Oasis instead on this one.
I like it.
All right, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at the end of the day. I'm fine with this. To be fair, Saul, I think we went to all 3 points last time when I saw this. I have to look back at the game, but I can't remember the team names, but it was a lot of fun to watch this one. This was probably my most entertaining map of yesterday. At least that's what I would claim.
Yeah. And coming into it right now, Ado on the side here for Dippity-Doo. We talked about how good they had of opponents they had in that first round, where they were 25-2 in a win there over Team Panama. You have D-Lant, Mauve, Restrict, Belize. This seems like a very, very scary team here, honestly. On the other side, though, for Crazy Legion, nice to see Foon again, nice to see Zabby, Julie, Garam, and Gravity Floor. This should be a fun matchup. It really should be here. Wrecking Ball coming out for them, Hunter. This seems like a really, like I always talk about, Wrecking Ball compositions just means chaos compositions. Jerem going to be right there with them to really follow up on a lot of stuff, while you're still seeing some swaps come out here now from Dippity-Doo.
Yeah, you do. Ultimately, and Foon, I think well known for the ball at this point, played it all day yesterday and found some good success. A couple of big slams there out the gate to get things going. Takes a nap in the process and already kind of has to be on the run. This is also a lot of what we saw yesterday at Foon. Pretty much playing Dead by Daylight more than Overwatch sometimes, and it's unfortunate. As you see, they got cut off momentarily by Otto, but is able to get out momentarily. Still is getting chased, by the way. Everyone is relentlessly pushing the ball back, and unfortunately, with that low of health, they might have to surrender the point initially, but to be fair, they have to get on the point to take it away, and with Javi being down, it looks like they should be able to do so.
Yeah, I think if Ado understood how low Foon was in that first kind of time they charged them, they would have been able to get rid of them right there. However, D-Line will be able to find them as you start to see Dippity-Doo get control of this point, build up to Garam can be able to find Restrict with a nice deflect there as they're antied and at 1 health, but all Ado needs to do is basically just breathe them and they die.
Yeah, unfortunate scenario, and Big right there getting knocked away, as I'm pretty sure Ado would have been knocked into the pit if that initial move didn't get hit on the Julie, so big play there. The ball's rather hit or miss, though, isn't it? Just in general, not even with Foon, just in general.
I mean, I call it a chaos comp because it's either very chaotic for the other team or it's chaotic for your own team because you're kind of playing kind of away from your own team at a lot of times. You're hoping that your support and your DPS can really be able to follow up with you with a lot of stuff. You're already seeing Foon die here. This might be the time right now, if you're Crazy Legion, to make that swap, especially as it looks like you might be losing Gravity.
Yeah, Ado not exactly in the best of scenarios either. Eventually is going to get a ton of care and going to be able to stay alive. So we'll see what ends up becoming of them here. Instead, Nano ready to go. Not any, like, amazing targets. You might just throw it over onto the Diva instead just to kind of get yourself something to work with right here as Foon gets taken off the map. Oh, that is unfortunato. Instead, it's going to be the Pharah who's going to get the Nano instead. You get rid of Wanna. You're going to try to get rid of two. Malv there, happy to clean up as 70% on the board. And they're looking phenomenal right now.
Looking really good. And this could be Final Fight territory right now, and especially with Gravity not making swap over to this Cassidy. They're not going to have any ultimates online, honestly, here for Crazy Legion. You still have Bomb, you still have Barrage, and you're going to have a Bob as well here for Dippity-Doo. You're in a good spot just to be able to really hold on to this point without any contest.
Yep, you take the trade out already. Jerem is still hanging around, is going to be able to get a couple more touches. Doesn't have deflect, though, is literally on 8 health right now. We'll get some cares. The overtime is going to tick over, but a really unfortunate pick as Julie and Foon are both trying to build up to their first ultimates of the round. Unfortunately for Julie, cornered right now. Eventually the supports are going to be broken up from each other, at least attempting to do so, as Minefield used on the point. Unfortunately, Foon's got to get back up. They're going to try to. They barely do so. Dex, though, it's just not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough here. Foon not going to be able to grapple up this time around here, and it will be Dippity-Doo taking this first point in very dominant fashion. Most members of Dippity-Doo find their first death there, and that final engagement, Ado the only one not to die there. It's just a really good round here for them. And again, we've seen Dippity-Doo look very good already throughout this entire night, only dropping that series, their last series, to Homeless. So they're looking to try to be a team here that, I mean, again, it's going to be probably Homeless or Dippity-Doo that do not get that bye. So if one of these teams gets the bye, you have to feel like they're in a great spot to qualify through the day and not through the LCQs tomorrow. Zavi, though, making the swap over to the Mizuki here instead, and Garam going over to the Echo now as well. Boom, though, going to stick with this Wrecking Ball, and Hunter, very boomer bust, like we kind of already mentioned. They might need to make that swap here sooner or later, but they really want to stick with the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, the problem is that ball can work, but I think Otto has this heat-seeking missile that's constantly looking at Foon. To be fair, that's one of the ways you can easily beat down the ball, as Hubby goes in really aggressively, gets the nice hook over onto the Ash. Unfortunately, just doesn't really work out for them. And now they're already sitting in really good territory. Durham is being forced back on the Echo, eventually going to be separated entirely, and it's going to be first point again going to Dippity-Doo here. At least it should, after a little bit more solid coming from Foon.
Gravity going to be able to get up. There's the cap going over to Dippity-Doo right now, and just good pressure coming out for them. Getting rid of Garam was a big kind of start there for them, and now you need a little bit more pressure coming out here, as you still see this Crazy Legion team playing a little bit split at the moment. Still looking for Foon to find a lot of that chaos kind of roll throughs, those pile drives as well, but you need that follow up there from Gravity or Garam to really find the most value here, as you see Zavi now being just kind of harassed a little bit by Ado on that high ground.
Yeah, genuinely so. See separation again. Brilliant pick earlier on. Put them in a good mood, but Julie gets rid of two with the kunai. So now, very much still in this one. Maob is sitting at 1 health. Eventually, Foon is there to finish things off, and now they can potentially take this one away. As all the members that are still around are very separated out now. If you kind of stall for a while, if you're Auto used this, positioning as long as you can, you're sitting in a pretty good territory. And as a matter of fact, the rest of the teams making their way back right now, they're going to be able to recontest this thing. And they get away with it at the end of the day. They get rid of Foon. Even though Edo gets pulled down, I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot. They're going to push everybody back once more. Jerem taken care of, and somehow they're going to clutch this fight up.
Yeah, just great plays there by Dippity just to hold on to that point, stall it up for as long as they did there. And it also came at the cost of 0 ultimates here. So you're about to have 4, almost all 5 of your ultimates ready to go here. Gravity now going over to this Tracer will not have a pulse bomb for a while here, but you see Mines about to be online here. This is a much different situation than what we saw last point here for Crazy Legion. You're going to have some ultimates to play with, so this could be a fight where you can actually take the first swing here if you want, especially Foon having those Mines ready to go at the moment. You have to know they're looking for it.
You definitely have to know so right now. You see already Durham beamed down as Lance try not to land into the mines, has to copy just to make sure there is no death coming their way. Pulse Bomb is ready to go already and falls directly into their lap. Somehow it goes through them. I think just the cooldown just barely ran out in time, as you're trying to find some kind of targets to get another Pulse Bomb. Unfortunately, won't be able to do so, as Mal's going to try to come back over on the Cat to come help the squad out. But with a little help from the Bob, from the rally, it's going to be another day at the shooting range, as Dippity-Doo is going to keep things going and take another dub on the day.
And Ado 23-0 this map, backing up another great performance from earlier on tonight where they went 25-2. I mean, Mob, not the first time we saw him on the Cat here this series or this map. We saw him play the Cat after their first death on the University as well. But Ado, again, highlight here for this Dippity-Doo squad. And right now, they're looking to set themselves up in a very comfortable spot to be one of those two teams that qualifies with Homeless, who is still currently undefeated, I believe.
Yep. And now they're sitting pretty, sitting really good. We'll check it on those other games really quick, Dex. It looks like one of those games is still going on. I believe it's the Panama and Crown Cat game that's still going.
I believe, unless...
Oh, yeah, no, the other two, yeah, that one's going too.
Homeless and ECT2 is still going on right now, but Panama's winning their map right now over Crown Cats, and Homeless is winning over ECT2. Either one of those teams winning, ECT2 upsetting Homeless here, that would be the chaos we're looking for. Panama really needs this win over Crown Cats just to stay in contention right now. for that top two. It's going to be very difficult with 3 losses to really make it, I think, almost impossible unless we see some wild stuff happen in our final 2 matches.
Yeah, it would require a lot of shenanigans. We'll see. This ECT2 team, I have a lot of faith in them, honestly. I gotta see what really it was. Ike and Soldi that really had me going yesterday. Ike was getting ready with a lot. I showed you that clip earlier. I'm pretty sure that was the map I'm thinking of. Actually, I can verify something because I sent you a clip earlier, Dex.
Yeah, you did.
I sent you a clip earlier, and I want to make sure I'm looking at the right people. Okay, it's not the right thing, so I don't have to gaslight myself. All right, I love it here. But there's a lot of good play. Soldi pretty much almost soloed that first map that we saw them on initially yesterday, all the way back on, what was it, New Queen Street. They went out there, they had an amazing performance where they nearly finished the map with 4 minutes left. They had that thing in the defender spawn doors. They were doing an amazing job on that, Cassidy. It was phenomenal to see right here, and now they're going up against one of those best teams that I talked about, Homeless. They barely didn't qualify yesterday. That's because they fell just short in their final match against Conejitas. They ended up losing that one, and that's why they're here today playing in day 2.
Right now, they're looking to be in a very good spot here in day 2. Halfway through it, still the only undefeated team left here. So they're in a good spot. If they beat ECT2, they go up to 4-0. And again, they could get a bye. They might not get a bye. That's going to be the interesting thing here. Which team has to play? Actually, no, they should. Every team should get a bye, right?
Well, no, because there's 6 rounds with 7 teams, so one team will not get a bye. I don't know what will calculate who does or doesn't get the bye, unfortunately. Because with the original thing with the round robin, it's easy to determine that, because if there's one team on its own that is the only one in its ranking, it would make sense that they would get that bye. But now it's you're gonna have scenarios where it's maybe a 4-0 team's gonna have to face a 2-2 team, or there's a team who's 1-3 who's gonna get the bye because they're the only 1-3 team. It's logistics that I don't think we fully comprehend, that I think is gonna be more randomness than anything else. But we'll see, as we're just we're watching the Homeless ECT2 game, and we're also just waiting on the results. Oh, the other game results?
Nope. Homeless able to beat ECT2 there. Homeless goes to 4-0. If they get one of those buys here in these final 2 games, they are, I think, locked in no matter what. SNK and Dippity-Doo are now the only 1-loss teams left here. ECT2 does fall down to 2 losses. Crazy Legion and Panama, or Crazy Legion, 3 losses right now. Unless there's a lot of chaos that happens in these final 2 rounds, you have to assume that they are probably looking at their last chance qualifier there. Panama and Crown Cats, winner of that one keeps themselves alive, at least for the night here, but they need a lot of help still.
Yeah, I think it's entirely viable that we can have a 2-loss team potentially go through, but the problem is it's going to come down to the Behold score after that. That was originally for a while going to be determination yesterday, but because of the way that game went, we didn't have to worry about it because the top 2 were just the only 5-1 teams. But this will be a different story. Homeless really do just need the one more win, and I think they're locked in at that point, because I don't think it's physically possible for more than one other team outside of them to be 5-1 or better. That's the way at least I estimate it right now.
Yeah, no, there shouldn't be 3 1-loss teams unless we suck at math, which I think we've shown a decent amount through the almost year we've been doing this now, that we're not the best at it, but we're at least good enough to understand it sometimes.
We try, and that's the important part.
Yeah, it's sad. I have an engineering degree and I suck at math. But still waiting on Team Panama and Crown Cats. That one's still going on here. Panama up in that one 1-0. So far, not a lot of fight back here tonight. No, Homeless and Dippity-Doo was the only series so far tonight that actually went the distance, I believe, last map there in round 3.
Yeah, I think so as well. We'll see if we get another game like that. It'd be exciting. It would be. Again, there was a couple of really good, really close games yesterday. Sorry, I looked over at the Senyu stream. Violet has this really awesome, what is it? A poster of Anya from Spy Family, which I know you're not much of an anime man, but I think you know what Spy Family is. I think you might have an inkling. Okay, good.
I don't watch it, but trust me, I want to try to. However, quick sidebar away. Panama beats Crazy Cat or Crown Cats right there. So we do know our round 5 matchups right now. We do know what team is getting the bye. ECT2 will be getting the bye here this round.
Ooh.
Crazy Legion will take on Crown Cats. Homeless takes on Panama, and Dippy Doo takes on SNK Red. That game right there, Dippy Doo and SNK, or not SNK Red, just SNK. That right there might be your decider for second place.
I think it might just be, to be fair. I don't know if what games or what game ACT2 would have left, and I think that might be dependent on what happens as well of who they will get to face in their final round. But you said it yourself. I think whoever loses this, I wouldn't say I consider them out, but it'd be a really tough road elsewise. Who did you say Panama was going up against?
Panama is going up against Homeless.
Oh, that is rough. But to be fair, if Panama win that, if there's a worry about a bullhold score, I think it goes down the drain if you win that game. I think you put yourself in a really good situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I'm just trying to take a random guess at who ECT2 would play. They've already played SNK, Crown Cats, Crazy Legion, and Homeless, which means they would their last ones is Dippy Doo, and I believe, did I say Panama?
I don't think so, no.
So it would be either Dippy Doo or Panama would be their final game here tonight.
Okay, well that'd be fascinating. We'll see how it goes down. But Homeless, I mean, I'd say they're in a pretty good situation now. I think they are feeling confident about what they're doing. They were literally this close to making it yesterday. Like, that game did come down to the limit, and I just, there's every reason to believe the squad's going to make it at this point. They just have to pretty much avoid a catastrophic meltdown, and then I think they will be perfectly fine.
Meltdowns do happen, though, as
Yeah,
we have seen in the past.
They most certainly do, but we're just waiting to see which game we're going to do. And hey, I say that we just got the message, and hey, lucky us, we talked about this game already. Homeless taking on Panama, so we'll be able to see if Homeless can close it out, because if they win this one here, they are essentially guaranteed top 2 and be able to move right on to the group stage next weekend and not have to worry about tomorrow's LCQ. They could sit back, watch everybody play tomorrow instead.
Yeah, which should be really fun. You're gonna get a lot of good ideas of who you're gonna be seeing there. But this is a Homeless going up against Panama. Panama might be able to surprise them here. They might be able to. They just need to put together a really good map here. Best of ones is just insane because everyone only has that one opportunity to really show it. But what map is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Flashpoint? Are we gonna go back over to the push map? We will figure it out here in about 45 seconds.
That we certainly shall. Be really interesting to see as we will wait for this thing to get going. But we have a second before it gets going, which is always fun. Should be a really fun matchup, and I'll wait to change names. But hey, Dex, it's been a long day. You know what I got to watch earlier today? Before I did my collegiate cast earlier. So fun fact, we started about 45 minutes late. You know why? Because the Smash Ultimate thing that happened before, they were doing the 3v3s tournament with it. They did the finals for that.
Crew battles.
Yeah, the crew battles. The crew battle went all 5 sets down to the final stock on the 5th set. That thing went in almost an hour over schedule. They went the absolute max. That was a lot of fun to watch, genuinely. Like, I enjoy my Smash from time to time, but I don't know. I had so much fun watching that. I was just invested for like 45 minutes. I kind of had to be fair, because I'm like, the moment this is done, I gotta be ready to hop in. But that was a lot of fun. I do enjoy my Smash.
Yeah, but hey, getting away from Smash, going back over here to Overwatch. Atlas gonna be our 5th map of the night here. And do we see any swaps come in here for Panama? I mean, we saw Speed Boost, saw Kubo, we saw Tiger. Opening and Guardian Mad are in there right now, but you saw Takeda, Kokoron, Dulce, and Zader. Those were the other 2 we saw the first time we saw Panama a little bit earlier on tonight. Other side, though, for Homeless, doesn't look like we're seeing any subs from them. Kale and Neil23 are your only other ones over there. But yep, actually, no, Kokoron and Dulce coming in here now for the side of Panama. Again, you still have a chance here for Panama to qualify. You need a little bit of help, but a win over the only undefeated team here left would be a big one.
That it 100% would be, and you know what, Dex? I'm feeling confident enough. I'm going to put a little voodoo into the universe. How does that sound? This was the one map that was played yesterday where an upset came to form. And that very clip that I showed you, because guess what? Guess what team was 4-0 going to this map yesterday? It was that Conejitas team, the only undefeated team left over, and they lost to Punto EXE on this very map. And now we have ourselves, again, the only undefeated team. They're 4-0, going up against a middle-of-the-pack team. Do we throw that chaos into the universe decks?
I mean, hey, this is definitely the map mode for it here right now. Seeing the Mizuki come back out here now for the side of... for the side of Homeless here, but Dole's showing us the Doomfist, at least teasing us with it here. Again, they want to stick with this kind of chaos comp here. Kokoron is going to really need to be with them at all times. It feels like on this Vendetta to find the most value here, especially with Artorias on this Sigma to get everything started here.
Yeah, I like the Sigma as well. Artorias, we've seen a little bit from them in the past as well. Mainly that D.Va, but honestly, the Sigma has a lot of his strengths as well, especially as you're already causing a split. You're making the entirety of Panama kind of play ring around the rosy. Conqueror, unfortunately, does not have a pocket full of posies. They'll be taken down very quickly there by Spooky, and it looks like the rest of the cleanup is going to come to form as well. Homeless going to start with the point to get things going.
Now they'll start with the point to get things going there. A little bit of a brief pause. Doles shows to Winston for a moment before going right back over to this Wrecking Ball here, and you need this Wrecking Ball to find a lot of value here fast. Colby Jack, though, is going to be able to find speed boost. That should send, and oh, wow, this is not going the way of Panama here to get everything started.
No, not at all. But to be fair, again, you walk into someone like Spooky, as good as they are, Torius, who's so consistent, and the rest of this team that synchronizes with them so well, it's tough. And for Dulce, who I think can find a lot of value on the ball, he's unfortunately just getting heavily focused wherever they go.
Yeah, as they really should here. If you get rid of the Wrecking Ball, this entire composition kind of dies here for Team Panama. You need to have that Wrecking Ball alive at all points to allow the other members of your team to find value, but Spooky going to be able to shut down Kokoron here, and you haven't even seen Team Panama really even get back towards the point since it's been capped.
Yeah, but you can have a touch set up here as well, as long as Dulce's alive over here. And to be fair, looks like that will be the case. You also have the support still hanging around as well, if you want to be able to force a touch that way as well. But Artorias is going to have the Gravitic Flux available here. And now you're just looking for a suitable target maybe to throw it on, but instead it's Spooky who's going to pull out this Deadeye on the point. Dulce has to kind of run away from that one. Unfortunately, without your tank, this is going to become nigh unwinnable already, and the cleanup's going to come through. Reset for Team Panama as they'll back out, and first point goes to Homeless as they're hoping to get that success going with nearly a full bed of ultimates.
Yeah, again, we've seen Homeless be able to just kind of bank up ultimates a lot throughout the night here. It will be the entirety of Panama, I think, getting at least set up here on this point or on the next cap point. Actually, no, it's just going to be Dulce, who's there by themselves, but the Wrecking Ball could do some damage on this point, especially because there is an edge you can knock people off of, but you immediately just see Homeless kind of just playing away from here, so you're going to need a good kind of play here coming out as nice boop from Reverb, but Spooky already finds Tiger.
Yeah, and again, Spooky's been super consistent throughout the entire weekend of this tournament, and unfortunately, it's not going to go too well here for Panama. They're going to get cleaned up once more. Second point starting over once more for Homeless, as the biggest thing for them, no ultimates used for that exchange. That means there will be 8 total, as Conqueror is going to make the swap and surrender the ultimate.
And I think you just need a little bit more pressure out. That's why I see the swap coming here from them now. The Genji really hasn't been finding the value you really wanted to here. So go to the Tracer instead. You can get behind Artorias, be able to kind of chunk them down, allow Dulce to find a little bit more value here as they're already going to be able to find Reverb right there for some help from Tiger.
And that's what you're hoping for right there as any ball player finds somebody exposed on their own. Kitsune Rush thrown in as Tiger's having everything blocked away, but UC sitting so low. Eventually the Kiri gone and taken care of. Pulse Bomb missing out, and things are looking good so far here from Panama. Just a couple more to clean up here as Colby Jack going to be able to briefly get away from some of the danger, but this is all going to be a stall game. Panama going to take the first fight win of the map, and it's going to be at 71%, but still, you got to be relatively happy with that if you're Homeless.
Yeah, you have to be. You have to be happy if you're homeless, but you have to be loving that fight there for Panama. You only used one ult with the override protocol. Look what we got out from the other side. You got Rick Katsunosh and Pulse Bomb. Yeah, they're gonna have their Flux, their Bead, and their Deadeye here pretty soon as well. But you got out more ultimates there. You're now in a better spot as Dulce gonna get everything going with their minefield. Beat though out from Reverb as a response.
Yep, I don't mind it at all, and it's thrown directly back here as well. Torre's going to try to find a couple of bodies. Finds one lovely body, to be fair. Thebos, though, is going to hit with a very nicely timed cleanse, as the cleanse on the other side is also used well by Cubu. I should say Cubu used the good one, and now it's used by the other Curie to pick things up. But it's the Horts that I think are suffering the most right now. Speed boost down early. You're not able to work up towards anything right now, as it's complete chaos. But to be fair, it's complete chaos in Panama's control.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to come out on top here. Now it's going to be a rush for Homeless to even get back to this next point. Or get back to this point here. Do we even see a touch come out for them? Colby Deck has to be your toucher right now, unless Spooky's going to roll on the point. Artoria's trying to get there. There will be a touch. So overtime will proc here, and you immediately see Homeless in a little bit of a better spot here with some ultimates online.
Yeah, you 100% will. Dulce going to run for it. Going to be able to grab, I think, a little health pack there for a moment. Deadeye going to be used. Solo used over onto Tiger. It's a great use. Gets rid of a second one, and now you need to reset quickly here if you want a proper retouch.
You have the chance to. You're going to be able to get out and reset here. You have Dulce, you have Speed Boost, you have Kubo and Kokoron, who can all get to the point, but I like what we're seeing here from Homeless. Taking a lot of that space here early on, going to make it a lot harder for a touch to come out. One's going to be able to back cap a touch here, and mine's already out from Dulce.
Yeah, and that's really good use right there of the boop. Spooky gets rid of another. All Dulce can really do is keep spinning to winning. Unfortunately, winning is not something you're going to do on this second point. It's a lot closer, but again, goes the way of Homeless, and they're now 1 point away here from basically solidifying their spot in the group stage next weekend.
As we go all the way across the map now, this should be an opportunity for Panama to get set up on the point here, which they should be able to. But you look at the other side, you have the Kitsune Rush coming online, another Beat, another Deadeye, and the Flux about to be online here for Homeless. Pulse Bomb and Override. The one thing that really won you that last fight there, are the first fight there on second point for Panama, is going to be online and ready to go this fight for Tiger.
Yep, 100%. Kokoron has a Pulse Bomb. Big stick over on Tortorius. Gets them super low, but Spooky immediately buys a little bit of space with the Deadeye as well. And this isn't, I don't know if this outright claims them the point, as you do see Dulce going to be able to touch one more time. You have the major perk with those shields online, which is big. Sound Barrier use will hit all 4 bodies, but Tiger's still hanging in there trying to find some kind of results. Unfortunately, nobody gone quite yet, as this point ultimately did flip over to Homeless, and there's just no cigar available here as Tiger trying to run away, and actually will be able to get out alive.
Yeah, you really needed that override to find something there from Tiger. Just give yourself a little bit of a shot there in that fight. But now look over at Homeless. Flux, Pulse Bomb, Kitsune Rush online here. Speedwood's going to be the only one to have an ultimate here for Panama early on. Pulse Bomb from Kobe Jack will land on the Dulce. Not going to be able to find a pick just yet, but they do find their counterpart.
Looking pretty so far. Primitive Flux is going to catch on to nobody. But still, they're in a good scenario. They find 2 picks anyway. They clean up shop, and unfortunately with 70%, Dulce is literally your last hope, and your last hope may... Actually, no. Konkron is currently hanging all the way around. Should be able to get a touch.
Yeah, they're going to need a rush to point, but it seems like Colby Jack spotted them out here. So they're going to have to take this duel, but Tiger falls almost immediately right here. Do we see a touch from Panama?
I don't think we do anymore. You're trying to... You have a sound barrier available. Yeah, okay, Dulce will get it in time as Colby Deck gets taken down. Speed boost for the save, and now they're still alive. They got a chance to pull this one back around. Spooky hits the quick Deadeye. Doesn't get anything immediately, but Dulce has been hit with shot after shot there as well. And now Kitsune Rush, last chance to pull this one around the mines, pushing everybody back. Artorius simply kept away from the rest of the team right here. He hits a big accretion as they will again. The clan's keeping them alive, and all you can do is throw your bodies on if they're the remainder of the Panama squad, as Homeless are going to wrap things up and all but solidify their spot in the group stage next weekend.
Again, we've seen Homeless a couple times tonight, and they just look like a team that's getting better and better every time we see them. And now with this win here, no matter what the result is in their next game, like you said, Hunter, they are locked in unless we see some absolute chaos somehow and the Bullhold score comes into play, because that would mean somehow Dippity Doo and SNK tied, which would be wild.
That would be genuine insanity. But thus far, from my updates, that's the only game that has finished quite yet. Right now, Crown Cats and Crazy Legion happening over on the Sendu stream. Crown Cats
Crown
up
Cats won that
2-0 currently. Oh, well, okay.
Sorry,
How dare you?
but by the time that comes up on stream, it will also be done on that stream.
Oh, that is that's relatively fair to say. Okay, I'll give you that one. But that means, Mr. Know-It-All, that we have one more game we are waiting on currently. Like we said before, that is the... Actually, are we waiting on it still? Yeah, we are. SNK and Dippity-Doo we're still waiting on, so, which arguably is the most critical game, honestly, out of this entire set, because this could be the thing that defines our second spot. I think that's pretty realistic to say.
Yeah, I mean, Homeless, we know they're locked in no matter what. SNK and Dippity-Doo, winner of that one, you have to say, is probably locked in as well. However, the wild thing that could come in here is if Homeless gets the bye in that 6th round, the final round of the night, because no matter who wins SNK and Dippity-Doo, there could still be a loss for that team that wins that one, and it brings right back up to that bullhold score yet again here.
Yeah, it would make things pretty terrifying because remember, depending on how that bye goes, that bye could potentially make the bullhold score useless if it makes a team go 5-1. Because I think right now that is technically a possibility, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out more as we kind of get the 6th round set up here. Like I said, just waiting on that one final game to be set in place there between SNK and Dippity-Doo. But hey, bullhold score wise, we'll see if that changes things. But ECT2, they bring themselves up to 2nd place now, barring the finish of the other games. So like I said, they're keeping themselves in it. It really is realistically down to these 4 teams right here. Or I think it's more fair to say it's down to ECT2, SNK, and then Dippity-Doo for that 2nd spot.
Yeah, and you have to remember, as ECT2 got the bye this round here, so they definitely will be playing next round no matter what here. But Dippity-Doo and SNK, I mean, I feel like we've seen both these teams. Dippity-Doo, I feel like, has looked like the better team, but SNK had a really good performance in their last one against Panama. You never know. That's the thing. You never know how they will come back out.
You absolutely have no idea how it's going to turn out. To be fair, I think this is a very back and forth game. From what we got to see from both these teams, I think they have good strengths to them. I think SNK have really good punch-up material, but when you have a team like Dippity-Doo that has as many good players on it as they have, it's tough to compete with. It really is, but unfortunately, the reality is that only one of these teams is going to move on today. That's the realism of it. I think whoever takes that 2nd loss put themselves in a really critical scenario, because as far as we're aware, Dex, the winner of this game could get the bye, and then things are basically settled right then and there. It's a very real possibility, an extremely unlikely one, but it exists. But we'll see if we get one of those games that could define our 2nd place spot, as we're still just waiting for that result to come through.
Yeah, and you have to imagine with how long this map has been going on between Dippity-Doo and SNK that they are going at least a little bit further than maybe the distance here. The distance would be all 5 points, but it's at least further than the first 3 points, as both these 2 series that have already completed only saw.
Yeah, 100%. But it'd be fascinating to see. But hey, we have a very quick moment before that goes. So how about we explain really quick, because I don't know if you fully know the rules of what's going on here, but it's pretty much the same exact rules of last year's Centroamericana, where we have 3 weekends of competition. We have this one right here, which is basically just the qualifiers that we had yesterday, today, and then the LCQ tomorrow. A grand total of 8 teams are going to move on to next weekend, where they're going to play in their own group stages, Dex, and it's going to be 2 different group stages of 4 teams, and the top 2 from those groups are going to move on to the double elim playoffs on our final weekend, where then and there we will decide ourselves a champion. If you remember last time we had this with the Centroamericana with this format, it ended up being the Dill Paddles beating Cosmos in the grand finals in a very dominant game on their part, which, to be fair, I think set themselves up for success.
Set them up for something. Yeah, absolutely. It did set them up for success. It set them up for that golden run we saw from them last season. Remember, perfect in the regular season, perfect in the playoffs. I believe they only dropped 6 maps throughout the entirety of it. That was just a sneak peek of what we saw last season in Face It there.
Yeah, that was phenomenal to see, which this does remind me of a little bit. We are sitting here right now. We're taking information. This isn't really off topic because it's still it's more South America thing. I forgot if there were any games on tonight. If there's any on right now. Did it happen? Because originally, oh
Oh
my
yeah,
god.
this was the cutlery battle, right?
No. Faka upset Ice. They beat them in
Ooh.
5. Whoa, that's crazy.
That keeps Faka alive for playoffs.
That does, and now Ice is in a bad situation now. What? That's crazy. Yeah, so Faka moves up to 4th place. They're tied up with Ragnarok now. What? That's insane. That's
the
actually
chaos
insane.
is starting. The chaos is starting.
Oh yeah, it's worth noting. I'll say this live on stream right now. Oh, that's such terrible. No, I might not be able to do that. If that's the actual date, I'll talk with Ligtat later. Oh no, that's really bad time. All right. Anyway, we're focusing on the positives though. That's a big game. We don't get many map 5s. It feels like, specifically with South America. They are rare.
Hell, when we first did our first season, it seemed like there were more map 5s than anything. Now, these last couple seasons, and especially this one, both South America and North America, map 5s have been really hard to come by. Hell, map 4s have been really hard to come by as well. But looks like our series that we're waiting on ended there. Dippity Doo beats SNK Red. I mean, SNK, it took all 5 points, and Homeless, they get the bye. So Homeless will be undefeated here. The chaos factor is now alive here for our final series of the night. SNK will be taking on Crown Cats. Dippity Doo will be taking on ECT2. Oh, Hunter, if ECT2 is able to beat Dippity Doo right there, there could be a 3-way tie.
Yeah, and it would come down the Bullhold score at that point. It would be absolutely insane. And right now, it could be Crown Cats that are ultimately playing spoiler here as well for SNK. Because when it comes down to it right now, if Dippity Doo wins their game, nothing else matters. They will take their win, they'll be 2nd place, they will move on. But if they lose, I don't know if ECT2 directly jumps them over for the direct tiebreaker. I think it comes down to the Bullhold score at that point. And for SNK Red, if they take the win, right now, their Bullhold score is technically higher than ECT2 right now. That could very well change based on the rest of the results, but it's something we're going to have to wait and see. But we know which game we're covering, Dex, and thank you very much, Mundi. We love you guys very much. We are getting the Dippity Doo ECT2 game. I think this is the big critical one that could very well decide our 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Dippity Doo throughout the night here a couple times. Ado, last map we saw him play, they didn't die. 23-0 there. ECT2. This is a team where I'm looking at the names, Hunter, and I might only recognize, honestly, one of them here. So this could be really, really exciting. However, do you remember what the 6th map was last night? Is it going to be push? Are we going back to control? Another flashpoint? What do we see here?
That's a really good question, Dex. That's a really good question, as a matter of fact. In fact, let me, definitely not stall and look at my VOD from yesterday. How about I just guess in the dark on this one? I bet I could think of it in about 17 seconds. I bet I could name it. I have a lot of faith in myself. Don't you worry. You know, I get the feeling,
I'll sit here and not say anything.
I get the feeling it might be New Junk City. I think that's maybe a small possibility. Maybe it's New Junk City. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name in the dark there. You know, I definitely didn't just close a VOD or anything. I would never do that.
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it here, but I think ECT2, they're gonna have a tough time here. We've seen what Ados have been able to do throughout the night. So far, they've looked really good. Same thing with this entire Dippity Doo team. They've looked really, really good throughout the night. First time we're actually seeing ECT2, I believe. So it took us to the final map of the night to see them. I believe, though, we have seen every team, if I'm correct about that. So, hey, at least we get to see all these players.
Yeah, and that's something that I didn't get to quite do yesterday, was see every single team. Yep, so, yeah, oh, man, I'm really good at predictions. I didn't get to see every single team yesterday. There were a couple that just didn't get the chance to that I kind of did today. That was really nice. And then we'll check in later today and see what teams are going to be playing the LCQ tomorrow, because like I brought up to you earlier, I think I've already said at least once, is there are some teams that specifically competed yesterday, not today, some that competed today and not yesterday. I do not know who all will be there for the LCQ tomorrow, but I imagine it's going to be a pretty big mix of both days, and we'll see what comes to form. So either way, we're just waiting for our lobby to start. The last round of the day that should be a very critical decider of our second place finish.
Yep. I'm absolutely. Dipty-Doo wins. Doesn't matter the result of any other game. They are your second place team. ECT2 wins. It becomes all down to the bullhold score, which, hey, we can always just take guesses at who's going to be the one that comes out on top, but guesses normally aren't the best way to go with a lot of stuff.
No,
but
never.
Again, I'm really excited to see this ECT2 team. Like I said, haven't seen this team here tonight. Don't recognize a lot of the players on it. Maybe only one or two. I believe Ike is definitely one of them. And as I say that, they get subbed out. But unfortunate. But again, we talked about a lot during World Cup when we were talking about a lot of teams with these players we haven't seen being the great unknown, and we were very much impressed with a lot of them here. I hope that's what we see from ECT2 here in our final map of the night, as we're going to be going in right now.
Yep, absolutely love to see it. I think this is, I'll say one final time, and then I'll throw this phrase into the garbage can. This is likely to be your big decider going through the rest of the night here. Dipty-Doo, ECT2, both teams have thoroughly impressed me in the outings that they've had. You may have not seen this team today, but I got to see them a couple of times yesterday. They definitely had some really high peaks, and in this game right here, I think they definitely need to find them some insane talent over on this Dipty-Doo team from a lot of our friends over at Team Mexico in the fellow trials that competed just a few weeks back. But it's going to take a big effort from both teams here, and to be fair, while it's going to be tough for them, I still think this is maybe more adherent to a coin toss than anything else.
Yeah, but one thing we're already noticing right now for Dipty-Doo, Ado not in, Angel Volato gonna be in for them as well. But outside that, you have Belize, Restrict, Mob, and D-Land, who we did see earlier tonight. Other side though, Alien gonna be your tank, gonna be running. Ooh, the Ramatra coming out here late. Yeo showing us a sim, going right over to the Tracer. There's a lot of Mizuki here tonight, Hunter. A lot more than I really expected to see, but I'm not arguing about it.
Oh, there has been plenty of Mizuki over the weekend already. I will tell you that. Lots of Mizuki, lots of Hazard, not as much Emre as you would expect either. A lot of Cassidy. And you've kind of seen glimpses of that here today. Ramatra, though, is something we saw from Alien yesterday, and our first instance today of being able to see them as Yo lucky to get out of there alive after being sunned out, as Soldi is being pushed a little further back from Angel, who's going to be able to hang around on that Hazard. And for the time being, point opened up. Eventually seeing D-Land go over down towards point. Angel is completely disrupted away, will eventually be burnt down, and as well as you can keep Alien up, you should be able to simply clutch this one out and reconfigure over onto the point. So ECT2 gonna be the ones to start out with the point.
And this is what you need here for ECT2 to get off to a good start, force some mistakes out from the side of Dipty-Doo. You get Restrict right there, so that's only going to stagger them out a little bit more here. You're going to have a good lead by the time that they come back into this next fight here. Alien, they're going to be able to back up. You want to play smart here if you're ECT2. You are. I wonder if they know they could be playing for a spot here, but Yeo going to fall here as Belize finds them right back really quickly.
Yep, really good shot. Able to follow up this time around, and now it's all about sustainability. Staying long enough as Belize gets rid of another. Eventually is going to get taken care of, but the damage already been done. Big cutoff over onto Alien for AOL. All they can really do is back out with the rest of the team, surrender it over at 64% as the Deadeye, the first ultimate, online.
But look at the other side. You're going to have Kitsu. You're going to have Override. You're going to have Annihilation. You're in a good spot right now if you are ECT2. However, you're coming into a lot of ultimates on the other side here. Deadeye, like you already mentioned, Downpour, Blizzard, their own Kitsu. This could be a pretty heavy ult fight here if it goes a little bit here, which both these teams are not afraid to necessarily position themselves into a spot where they're just rotating around this point, waiting for someone to make that first mistake. And you're always kind of looking at Angel Volato here on this Hazard. They want to make that dive, and eventually, and you see him kind of just biding their time, waiting for the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, and they're waiting for the separation to the point where that wall doesn't just completely cut bodies off. And I like this. You bring over towards the point. The freeze into the Deadeye is going to be brutal. Please, you're just staring them down, and eventually will fall over as Annihilation gonna be used to clean this fight up. Just the supports, a little bit of stall coming from the Lucio as the Pulse Bomb gets used to finish them off. So now all you have in your bank is the Kekai Sanctuary.
Yeah, you didn't need to use the Pulse Bomb there. You could have taken care of Restrict very easily. Now you honestly allow maybe a retouch to come back in here from Dippity-Doo.
Yeah,
especially with the ultimates they have, they can invest very heavily here. It's downpour already out for them.
Yep, and now you see the Soul going back down there. Kekai Sanctuary, all that's left in the bank. Unfortunately, it's not working out all that well. Lees is super by themselves, by the way, in a 3v1. But now it's a 3v4 going on to the point. You get a momentary moment here to retouch, but the problem is there's no one who can hit the insta-retouch. You just have to start trucking on forward and try to keep bodies alive right here. And you see the separation over onto Misery. Can't stick around to help Alien All, who is starting to run out of cooldowns. Needs to stay alive for as long as humanly possible, but such is definitely becoming a near impossible task. Getting some care just in time with a little help from their Nemesis form, but I mean, no healing, no cooldowns. Eventually, it's going to come to its natural end. It's a close one, but Dippity-Doo going to take the first point away.
And again, you need plays like this for Dippity-Doo if you want to be able to lock yourself into that next round here without having to go through the LCQ. Belize, though, making him swap off the Cassie over to the Venture. Instead, I feel like this is a really good pick, especially for this map. Venture finds a lot of value, especially with what you're seeing on the other side of some characters that are mobile, some characters that are not. You're really going to try to punish those ones that do not have those movement abilities. And Belize, I think they're already off to a good start on everyone's favorite rock monster. Downpour about to be ready here for Angel Velato as Belize already finds Misery out.
Yeah, great pick early on. It's going to die as a result, but honestly, you've definitely gained your value off the Alien's going to back out, but no care sitting by. As you're going to see basically the full wipe come through as AOL just, realizes, let's take our reset, let's move on. As they will have to, like I said, back up and point. Could be taken once more here by Dippity-Doo.
And Belize gonna be coming back in this fight here very quickly. The only member of Dippity-Doo that died there, but you look at Dippity-Doo, 2 ultimates online for them. Now some more swaps. Misery going over to the Brig, and Alien gonna be matching the Hazard here for them here. I honestly thought the Ramatra was doing really well, but once you get outside that first point where all these other points are really more wide open, you need something to be able to that can deal with that wide open space, and that the Hazard can definitely do that.
Yep, downpour from Angel right now. Is Alien forced way out. Is like being 3v1, by the way. Lucky to still be standing. There's just no more blocks sitting by. 50% already up and getting as Yeo finally has another pulse bomb ready to go here. Would love to find an amazing target. Unfortunately, target's not something they're going to find as the quick trade comes out. And honestly, you don't hate this at the end of the day. You still have double support ultimate sitting by. You can re-sustain easily with 80% on the board. It's desperation touches coming through. Is Alien going to be able to get there in time? Soldi, though, cannot say the same. And unfortunately, all they have to do is continuously keep poking away, get one by one out of there. Alien needs to find some kind of pick here, but Misery instead going to be the one to do so. And with that being the case, next, we're in the 44, and they are investing heavily into this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm wondering when this beat's going to come out, because that could be the thing that really gets them over the edge here. Rally, though, out from the other side as Belize goes falling off the map and saying goodbye to...
Oh, no. That's so unfortunate. No, and they're going to clutch this up ultimately. Angel is still hanging around. So they're doing a really good job of keeping this one alive. As it does flip over momentarily, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to particularly matter right here, as no one is anywhere close to a retouch. Oh, that's so incredibly rough. Dex, I think your mic went out because I wondered why you randomly stopped. Your mic definitely went out. That's why I picked it up, so I'm just going to say my apologies to you now as we'll do the quick reload. But I'll talk while we got a second right here. I'll know right when your thing comes on. I'll give you your cue. But right now, Malv is going to be able to get out of there alive, take a quick little reset, eventually keeping the pressure going, trying to stay into this one as Downpour is available for Alien, but is just a little too far in for their own good. They'll be taken out in once more. I think this is realistically going to be a free cap off of that, as Dex, I believe you are now back with us, as this fight is nice and settled already.
And that's exactly what you want here, especially if you are Dippity-Doo. And like, you were really hoping right there for the side of I'm already forgetting the name. That's
Ooh.
bad. But slowly you're gonna be able to find Belize out there. You're really hoping that the point goes to the other side of the map. But downpour now out from Angel Velato.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb also going to miss as well, as you're not going to find a ton of inherent value. Angel has to run for it. It's just getting beamed down here by Soldi, and Angel just has no care sitting by. They'll eventually have to give this up, and now if Alien gets a little bit of care, they should be able to take over this point in pretty quick fashion right here. Yo may lose out on the 1v1, but it's not going to matter too much, as they will be able to stall for just an extra moment in time, but this thing actually doesn't flip yet. Actually, at least makes it back. Gets slashed momentarily. That's really good timing right there by Alien, by the way. But even if you lose this fight, you've now gone and stalled at least an extra 15%. You're just sneaking on one after another. City Rush thrown out is... It can be the best call or the worst call ever. But right now, with that, Angel cut off completely, eventually should be burnt down, but instead, Mao goes down to the Pulse Bomb instead. We're at 80% now. They have the beat coming back, Dex.
This is an extra 50%, about to be an extra 60% here, as really this fight was over at 31%.
Wow.
That should have been when they got the point. They get it at 93 instead, and Grant, yeah, you invest a couple ultimates right there. If you're Dippity-Doo, but who cares? 93%, all you need to do is win one fight, and this map and your night is over with you moving on to that group stage here. But look at the other side, Kitsu, Override Protocol, Rally online from this. This is a spot here for EST2 to really be able to get a couple fight wins in a row and get yourself established on this map.
Yeah, remember Sound Barrier ready to go, and there's the all-out assault. They're trying to run down Soldi, who gets all of that nice overhealth coming through, and now Override Protocol online as well, direct over onto D-Land. You see them trying to run away, but they'll be picked off one after another. Angel, last one hanging alive, and they're going to be in the way backline trying to just hide away and bide their time.
I think they know they're back there. They're saying, okay, we can go take a fight against the entirety of the rest of the team right now. Mauve, though, going over to the Cat. We've seen this from him earlier on tonight. I don't think it's going to be able to get Angel into the fight here, but Angel just going to get themselves into the fight here. 2 ultimates, though, online for Dippity-Doo as they come into this one.
Yep, I don't mind it. Going with a little bit of chaos right now. It plays into your wheelhouse. You have to consider Resh ready to go, and you need to use this sooner rather than later. You cannot afford to simply lose this fight and never use it, but they're separated. It's going to be too little, too late. Alien down. AOL, the last one to set up a touch, and such isn't even going to come to form. It's going to be Dippity-Doo taking away the big win, and now we'll see who fortune favors.
I mean, it should be favoring Dippity-Doo here, as they're going to be the only team that ends the night with 1 loss. But just good performance all around for Dippity-Doo. ECT2 had their opportunities. They just were never able to capitalize on them here, and just great plays all around again, like I said. But Homeless, 6-0. SNK was able to win that series there, so that one's already done and dusted for them. Dippity-Doo, once this one processes through on face, it should be your only team in that number 2 spot.
Yeah, because, they'll improve to 5-1, and that was kind of what we needed to decide if that loss came through, if there was going to be chaos. But since that has been the case, it looks like it is going to be Homeless and Dippity-Doo, your 2 that are going to move on to the group stage, and SNK unfortunately going to fall just short despite having an opportunity to fight back and successfully doing so. But regardless of that being the case, it sets up some interesting storylines going into tomorrow. As Homeless, they managed to bounce back from being 3rd yesterday to finishing 1st overall today. The only undefeated team, not just of today, but of the entire weekend so far. They're sitting pretty. They're looking good going into the group stage.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you have to feel very confident about yourself. Undefeated, the only team to go undefeated. They're going to get a 1 seat no matter what. Dippity-Doo, I mean, that was a really close series between Homeless and Dippity-Doo. You have to remember, it went a very long time. We were waiting for that one there to wrap up. SNK, though, you would love to probably have that Dippity-Doo series back here. I believe that was one of your losses that kind of knocked down that 3rd spot. Panama, though, I think this is a good night for them. Even though they end 3-3, I think they have to feel pretty confident going into LCQs tomorrow. Same thing with ECT2, but there's going to probably be a lot of other teams there tomorrow in that LCQ that we did not see tonight, but definitely saw yesterday.
Yep, 100%. Pulled up the final standings for day 2 for y'all just on the screen, just so y'all have the look at everything went down. So we'll just run from the bottom up to the top here really quick. Dex. Crazy Legion, unfortunately, falls 1 and 5. Crown Cats get a big dub against them. They go 2 and 4. We have a couple 3 and 3 teams with ECT2 and Panama. But, of course, third place, SNK, falling just short. And now Dippity Doo, your second place. Homeless, your first place. Moving on to the group stage next weekend. And to be fair, this happens at a pretty quick affair. Like, we always forget when we have these tournaments coming up, especially when it comes to like the Sudamericana and now the Centroamericana. These fly by. We have been here for nearly 2 hours. It doesn't quite feel like it, I gotta be honest.
No, especially when they're only best of ones. I mean, it doesn't feel like it because we've seen some 4-map series go 2 hours in the past, and we just watched 6 maps take that same amount of time.
Yeah, 100%. That's amazing. But hey, I'm happy for it to be the case. That is the big GG's right there. Love to see it. But of course, everything not done for these teams that I mentioned before that didn't get through today. The LCQ takes place tomorrow. I'll have to see what time it ends up starting. I imagine with a Sunday, it'll be a little bit earlier than today's start time. That's just an assumption. I'll get a read on that pretty soon, and I'm sure y'all will see the announcement from Grupo Senju as well as to not only what time is happening tomorrow, but all of the people that are covering it tomorrow as well. But Dex, I'll say, unless you have any final thoughts on what you went through here today, because to be fair, we haven't been able to do a tournament like this since the Suda, and I love these so very much.
Yeah, these are really fun. Again, fast-paced, short tournaments where you see a lot of teams participate, a lot of players participate. I mean, hell, we didn't see every player here tonight, as we saw a couple teams that had enough subs to fill out another team, but it's going to be really fun. LCQ is going to happen tomorrow. Double the amount of teams will be able to qualify through that. So again, you're looking at those teams that finished 3rd and 4th here tonight of SNK and Panama. You have to throw ACC2 in there as well, as they're feeling pretty confident. And I mean, you're still looking at some of those teams from day 1 who barely missed out on qualifying through, but they have a chance tomorrow, especially with 4 spots, like I said already, that are going to be available tomorrow. Some of those teams are going to be able to breathe a little bit easier, relax as they play a couple of those games, knowing that one loss doesn't necessarily kill them. The second one, though, they can take, but you're probably on your last life after that.
Yeah, definitely are. But a little more room and margin for error tomorrow with it being top 4 teams for the LCQ. We'll see how many participate. Again, when we know, we'll make sure y'all will know as well. And if time does mind itself tomorrow, we'll do our best to be able to cover it. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. Today is taking care of itself. Everybody, thank y'all for being here. Hope y'all have a fantastic evening. Keep supporting Central American and South American Overwatch to your heart's content. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.